Storm chances are on the rise as we round out the week, and some of them could be on the severe side. Hi, everybody. I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Justus, keeping you up to date on all things severe. Please like this video, comment in the comment section where you're watching from. If you're new to this channel, please subscribe now. It is your way to stay informed of any kind of severe weather that could be coming our way. And yes, I do plan to give you a full tropical breakdown here at the end of this video. It is that time of the year as we enter May that we got to start talking about the tropics, because 4 out of the past 5 years, we have had tropical activity develop in the month of May, which would be earlier. So severe storms. So the risk today kind of looks like a dinosaur, right? Back toward the west, through Texas, up through Arkansas, and into the Midwest. For most of the western parts of the Carolinas, we have been under a low risk for severe weather. So, a risk that gives us a chance for storms, but nothing widespread. However, tomorrow, that threat for severe weather does get a bit closer to home. You can see that medium level 2 risk is closer to home over Tennessee. My concern is that some of those storms that would form back to the west would try to hold true and move into the east. That said, I've got thunderstorm chances at about a 30% chance. It's one of those situations where not all of us are going to see it, but if you do, a storm could turn severe as we go throughout the day. How about Friday's storm risk? Because, it's going to be another stormy day across a good bit of the area. And as we go into Friday's time frame, more of the western Carolinas are highlighted under that elevated risk for severe weather. It's a level 1 out of a 5, but it's something we got to keep an eye on. Strong gusty winds and large hail would be the main threat in these locations. Let's back it up one step, because I know what you're thinking. What kind of severe risks are we talking about? Well, today the tornado risk is back toward the west, Arkansas, back through Kentucky. Now moving into tomorrow, any kind of severe weather risk would likely be confined to those same areas as far as tornadic concerns. Upper Midwest and then back through Texas. And then as we go into our Friday time frame, this is mainly a wind and a hail maker. I've got a brand new computer model that times that out for us. It just started crunching here. Shows as we go throughout the day tomorrow, starting off with clear skies. Thursday's going to start off really, really nice. But as the day goes on, the chance for thunderstorms will begin to build, especially with that front back to the west trying to activate in the daytime heating. So 2, 3, 4 o'clock, we'll start to get some storms to fire up across western North Carolina, Georgia, down through the panhandle of Florida. Also rocking and rolling over parts of Tennessee, Alabama, and Mississippi. That said, this continues to push off toward the east, and we'll start to get some thunderstorms to fire up 7, 8, 9 o'clock. So some of these storms could be severe as we go throughout the day on Thursday. Then this would continue to move off toward the east. We take a little bit of a break Thursday night into Friday. That said, there is still the potential that some of these storms try to rumble and bumble all the way into the overnight hours. How about Friday? Well, Friday looks like we start off with a few thunderstorms across western North Carolina, but as the day goes on, if the atmosphere doesn't get completely capped due to that earlier outflow or storm activity, we could have some additional storms that try to form in the 5, 6, 7 time frame. And again, any number of these could be severe during that time frame across the northern parts of the upstate, through Charlotte, up through the I-40 corridor, heading back through Raleigh, Durham, Chapel Hill. That would try to move through late in the day. I'm talking 8, 9, 10, 11 o'clock. And then it looks like we try to at least dry out for the weekend. As I look at storm field, there's plenty of it to go around, especially as we get into the afternoon hours. Here is Thursday afternoon. There's plenty of fuel here for some severe weather. Anywhere above 1,000 would give us the capability of a severe thunderstorm. In this case, we've got Cape that's up around 2,500, maybe even 3,000 in some cases. So that would lead to us getting a better chance of some more unstable conditions. And then Friday, we do that all over again. How about a closer look? Let's look at the storm chances. Let me refresh a model here, and boom, there we go. So going throughout Thursday morning, most of us are completely dry, but by the afternoon, 2, 3, 4 o'clock, storms are starting to form. Northern power to the upstate in the mountains, where you get some elevation. That helps kickstart storms to begin with, and then some of us will get some of those to spread in 6, 7, 8 o'clock. Then there's a chance for some of those overnight rumbles of thunder I told you about. It'd be 11 o'clock through midnight, 1 a.m., but most of us are dry going into Friday morning. That said, Friday afternoon looks like the most coverage here. We got 3, 4, 5 o'clock. Some of these are some strong storms rolling on through, lightning, some thunder, heavy rain, and possibly, if some of these storms do turn severe, the possibility is there for some large hail. We'll have to watch that closely because as I move on through and look at this lightning intensity, it does look like there's quite a bit of electricity with this activity over Friday specifically. Not to say we won't get lightning on Thursday. Any number of these storms that do form do have the potential for lightning, but certainly the capability is there. I mean, I'm seeing the lightning density here in the yellows. That's a lot. I mean, when you see 4s and 5s like that, that's a lot of lightning flashes per minute. Okay, so when we look at that, that's going to be one bolt after another kind of thing in these storms. So I do think we'll have some lightning and some thunder as we go into Friday afternoon between 2 and 5 o'clock. All right, folks, what about the tropics? Because it is that time of the year that we get these weak frontal boundaries, much like what we're having move our way this weekend, that just don't quite have enough oomph to get all the way out to sea and way out here where they don't cause much threat. If they die out here across a very warm part of the Gulf Stream here, the Gulf into the Atlantic and even in the Caribbean, that's when you start to get the breeding ground for tropical development. There is nothing brewing right now, thankfully. There is, however, a couple of areas that we would need to watch for development. This is the potential for development over the next 7 days. And right now, the lower parts of the Caribbean, a typical trouble spot, especially because you get some activity here in the Pacific that tries to roll up and over. And if it crosses over and can hold some consistency together, you can get a little something to spur up. But right now, the models aren't too optimistic about anything really getting too organized here for our friends down toward the islands. Okay, just don't see it happening this time of the year. Not a conducive environment. That said, the fact that we have something even showing up here on colors on our map just tells you that the tropics are trying to wake up, and that is going to be something that we will need to keep an eye on as we move forward, as the tropics will begin to kind of get back alive again. And like I said, out of the past 5 years, 4 out of the past 5 years have had an earlier pre-hurricane season storm, and that would be in May. Usually it's the last week of May, the 20th through the 30th, but nonetheless, we need to stay on guard for potential development. And hey, it has been nearly 7 months since we've had Hurricane Helene move through the Western Carolinas and Georgia. It seems like yesterday some days, and then other days it feels like we've lived a lot of life since then, right? Nonetheless, we've got to keep a close eye on what's going on. But as always, I will keep you posted. But storms, yes, are in the forecast as we go through the day tomorrow. We will be watching those closely. So make sure you keep it locked right here. Anything that comes our way, severe weather-wise, I'll be sure to patch in right here. So please like this video, subscribe to the channel if you do not already, and of course you can turn on those notifications to continue to get those notifications should severe weather be heading our way. I'll be letting you know about the warnings, the watches, and where they're at in your town. So again, I do look at the comments. It helps me know where you're watching from. It does look like as we get past this pattern, Saturday, Sunday, into Monday, we're breaking out of this pattern to where we're starting to clear out. In fact, I do see a couple of cool mornings coming our way. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I've got lows in the 40s across the mountains of North Carolina. Some of that cold even gets down in the southern parts of Georgia with 50s beginning to show up. We'll enjoy that because you know what's coming. The summer heat is just around the corner.